Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of Immoral Practicality. I just blanked the space out on the name of our show. I want to preface this by saying I'm a huge comic book fan. I've been reading comics for 8 years now.
Yeah.
And people in my friend circle know me as the comic book guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, the influence of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is second to none. Right, it's defining pop culture now.
Mm-hmm.
So people every now and then will come up to me and go like, "Hey, I wanna get into comics."
Yeah.
You know, people
Like
have a passing
I did.
interest.
Yeah, like I did.
Like you did. And so when people come up to me and go like, "I want to read comics," I want to show them what kind of an aficionado I am.
Uh-huh.
So I go like, "Hey, pick a character."
Yeah.
And almost
I fell for it.
every time,
I'm like, Batman.
Everyone-
I still remember the way.
everyone
it
says Batman,
screamed. Right?
which is great.
And
'cause
you're like,
Bat-
yeah, okay, sit down. I'm gonna introduce you to the world of comic books, but the right way.
Right, because I love Batman.
Mhm.
You know, he's my favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't start comics with Batman.
Right.
Because besides being like a fan of comics, I'm also a fan of Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
And superheroes are the modern mythology.
Right.
Now, what is mythology? Mythology is stories about gods and monsters, which tell us something about the human condition.
In the land of gods and monsters,
I do not
was
know
an
this song.
angel.
Okay, they tell us about the human condition, right? But
Mhm.
oddly enough, the heroes of these stories are rarely ever gods or monsters, or even humans for that matter. They're usually the bastard children of the gods. Half human, half god demigods.
I love how objectively you said that. Bastard.
They're all bastards.
Children.
Yeah. So,
Say it again.
bastard children. So,
That echoed.
so the bastard children of the gods, the demigods,
Yeah.
are born mortal, sometimes not even knowing their true nature,
Right.
and are capable of doing incredible things. So they're effectively superhuman,
Mhm.
right? And that's what superheroes are. Superheroes are superhuman.
Superhumans.
And so
They have superpowers.
They have superpowers.
They're usually very
Exactly.
hot.
Like Hercules, for example.
Yeah.
Right? Super
so
strength.
hot.
Okay. So he is hot.
So hot.
So
it's
hot.
it's a shame that Superman is taken. It's a shame.
So, well, you just gave it away. But
Listen, everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Lois
It's in the
Lane. Lois
it's in the
Lane.
title. So, we're going to talk about Superman today.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get into comics, you need to talk about the first superhero. We got to talk about Superman, the
Yes,
archetype
Superman.
for everyone else,
Right.
for every other hero.
Right. Right.
The first one is Action Comics number 761.
Fucking
Okay.
nerd.
It's called
Fucking
For a
nerd.
Thousand Years.
Right.
Now, something interesting about this story,
I love you for 1,000 years.
I don't know which came first, the song or the story.
The
but,
story, definitely,
Okay.
dude.
So,
Obscure.
very obscure.
Mhm.
But
The song was
some-
in Twilight. Carry on.
So this is one of my favorite stories. It's very obscure, and I've given it to all of my friends who wanted to get it.
I loved it. I loved it because I could see them in action and there was so much going on.
It's an adventure story. Yeah?
It's
an
an
action
adventure
adventure.
story, and
story.
it has so much emotions. Okay, we'll get into that. So, give us a little synopsis of the story.
Here's something I want to talk about before I get into the synopsis.
Okay,
I've given the story to a few people.
right.
No one's ever pointed out that the name on the cover doesn't match the name of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Because they used to do that back in the 90s. The cover would have like a title, and then they would have the name of the story. The story is actually called For a Thousand Years.
Mm-hmm.
You pointed out something I hadn't noticed, that the cover says Immortal Beloved.
Yeah.
I like that name more.
Immortal Beloved is what fit in there. I didn't even know that 4,000 Years was the,
Yeah,
the
because
name
it's
of
on
the
the
story
cover.
until the very end
Right.
and everything.
So
And even every time I talked about it, I called it Immortal Beloved.
Immortal Beloved.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? And then you point out that it's on the cover.
Right.
So the synopsis of the story is as such. Superman and Lois are married.
Yeah.
Lois Lane, Superman's once and future lover.
Mm-hmm.
And they're married.
Sunday morning cuddles.
Sunday morning cuddle. So they're in bed, they're having a conversation, and
And they're
suddenly
cuddling.
Wonder Woman shows up.
Yes.
She shows up.
flies through the window.
She flies through the window.
She was discreet. I don't know how that works.
I have no idea.
Leave it to them.
Yeah. But people don't look up.
Yeah.
They rarely do.
Yeah.
So even in the
We
world,
don't have enough bird watchers, do we?
we don't. Even in the world where people can fly, people tend not to look up as often as they should.
Stargazers and bird watchers. Just me.
In the
huh?
morning. So, so Wonder Woman shows up, and Lois is. Oh.
The very first discussion is like, who will be the
Lois
who
is
will
making
be
fun
Mrs.
of
Clark. Yeah.
saying, "Who would Mrs. Superman be?"
Yeah.
The world is guessing because
Yeah.
one of the reasons why Clark's disguise, everyone knows this. Superman is the reporter Clark Kent, and the only thing Clark does to maintain his disguise is wear a pair of glasses. And it's ridiculous, but the reason it works is because no one assumes Superman would lead a normal life.
Yeah.
Right? They're like,
Yeah,
if this,
for sure.
if there's this guy who can fly and is as strong as Hercules, why would he need to lead a normal life?
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
No one would assume that he grew up on a farm. So it works for Clark. So Clark, Lois is talking to Clark, and Lois is like, the world has been guessing for a long, long time since you showed up who Mrs. Superman is, or if there is a Mrs. Superman.
Right. There's a Mrs. Kent to be, but there
Right,
is no.
which Clark defends. He's like, well, there is no Mrs. Superman.
Yeah,
There's a
it's
Mrs.
just
Clark Kent.
you.
Yeah. So he's doing the thing where he's like, there's no one else.
Yeah.
No one else.
But
And his
like,
voice is cracking.
Why do I feel like there is an implication that if there was a Mrs. Superman, it'd be Wonder Woman because that's
the
the
world
where
guessed.
it's-
That's
right?
that's what the world says.
That's the
That
fidget.
if there was to be a Mrs. Superman,
Yeah.
the first guess would be.
I suggest polygamy. It would work in both worlds.
Oh, okay.
Why not, Ron?
Okay,
What if
so-
you want 2 wives?
So, where were we?
So
Man,
Sunday
2 wives
morning.
really got to me.
Sunday
I'm
morning
Trump.
cuddling.
So Wonder Woman shows up in the middle of that conversation.
Boy, you can't handle one. Carry on.
So Wonder Woman shows up in the middle of that conversation, and Lois, who was playing around with Clark, is kind of distraught by it because suddenly Mrs. Superman, the world's perception of it,
That was crazy. Like,
It was incredible.
You know, speak of the devil, right?
right. So she shows up, and
She's
Clark,
all discreet.
Clark suits up, and then they go out for a walk, and they're talking about
Tell us about the bystanders.
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 Okay, let's cover the synopsis real quick, and then we're
Sure,
going to
sure,
come back
sure,
to what
sure.
happens in the story. So, Superman and Wonder Woman go out and they're walking, and then they go inside of Wonder Woman's sanctuary called the Wonder Dome. Not important. But they go in there and they're having a conversation, and Superman's talking, and then suddenly they disappear.
Yeah.
And where do they?
Teleported into this world.
This world full of monsters
Teleported.
and fighting and battle. And where is it?
To the Asgard.
They go to Asgard.
Fucking
And
Asgard.
Thor shows up.
Yeah, I
And
thought.
Thor is like, listen, guys.
I did not
We're having a little
recognize Thor.
problem. This
Uh-huh.
problem is called the death of the gods. We're having Ragnarok. And so we need your help. And we're gonna have a big old good like bash and smash fight.
So Superman's like, how long do you think this will last?
Yeah, how
before
long do
I
you think this
can
is
go
gonna last?
home?"
Because like it's Sunday, I gotta get back to my wife.
Right.
And Thor's like, oh, it's gonna last like 2,000 years.
And then in the comics, Superman and Wonder Woman's face,
Yeah.
right?
By the way, I can already see a lot of confusion here. People are asking questions. Isn't Thor a Marvel character? Isn't Ragnarok the name of the third movie?
I had the same questions.
Shut up. Okay. Save your questions until the end of the lecture.
So you were telling us about
Thor.
Thor
Thor
is
showed
in
up.
Asgard,
Yeah. So they're in Asgard.
and he's the one who had them teleported.
Right. So the war turns out lasting many, many years, right? And we're going through the war with them. And at some point, Thor dies. And Superman picks up the hammer because he's worthy.
Spoiler alert! By the way, this whole thing is a major spoiler alert.
And they keep fighting. And during this entire tedious war, God War, Superman starts to forget his wife. It's not because he's an asshole. It's because years are passing, decades and centuries are going past.
And he's dedicated to fighting, you know?
He's
and
dedicated to
he's losing
fighting, yeah.
touch of his humanity.
It's not really. He's forgetting.
He's forgetting.
That's the thing, yeah. Like his and it's only
He's
imaginable
detaching.
because like he's only lived a certain amount of years, and then like this is an endless experience.
Yeah.
So as time goes on, he starts to forget his wife, but he's trying to hold on to everything that she is. But he can't. And as time passes more and more and more, he starts to forget more and more and more pieces of Lois. And then the final night arrives, right? Superman's leading the charge. Wonder Woman is standing next to him, and the forces of hell and the demons and whatever else are coming. And on the last night together, they realize that this is a god war.
Yeah.
And they, even though in 1,000 years, it's been 1,000 years. That's why the story's called 1,000 for 1,000 years. Even in these thousands of years, they haven't aged. But they have gotten worn out, and it's a god war. They might die.
They might
right?
die.
This might be their last night, and so they almost bang.
How romantic! Is this how you refer to that intimate experience that humans have?
They almost consummate this.
Bang.
They bang.
They bang.
And-
Remember phone banging from the last episode?
Yeah, viewers. So they almost get together, but then Superman stops Diana by saying, even though it's been many years and she's probably dead in another world,
Right.
she's the only one for me, and then I can't. And then Diana appreciates the gesture, and then
The honesty.
and then
honesty,
they
yeah.
don't bang.
They don't give in to temptations.
They don't bang, and then they fight, right? And then they win.
How did it win? Tell us.
Oh, so
The Mjolnir.
we'll talk about it.
Okay,
We'll
okay.
talk about that.
Mjolnir.
So they fight and they win, and then Thor comes back to life because he's a god.
He's a god.
And this is Valhalla. When gods die, they come back to Valhalla,
This is Valhalla.
right?
This is Valhalla.
So it is Valhalla.
It's Valhalla.
So Thor comes back, and
Yeah.
then Thor is like, "You won the war for us. What do you want? Anything you want, it's
Anything you
on
want."
me.
And Wonder
Guys,
Woman's
what?
like, "Anything
We're gonna
you
go to the
want."
superstore. We're gonna buy whatever you want." So Thor comes in and goes like, "Make a wish, whatever you want." And
Send
Superman
me the
goes like,
fuck back.
"Yeah, send me back.
Send me
back.
home, send me back.
I want to go back to my wife."
Yeah.
And so Superman goes back, and Lois
She
is,
cookies.
and then Lois is sitting by herself alone, maybe missing Superman. For her, it hasn't been very long. It's been like a couple hours, but she is jealous. So you know how
We'll get into that.
you know how
woman.
slow time passes when you're jealous.
Ahare.
So
We'll get
so
into
then,
that.
So then Superman comes back. He picks her up. He gives her a big old wet kiss, and then says, Lois says. And then says, Lois, I've missed you for 1,000 years.
Ah,
It's a beautiful story about love and marriage and commitment.
I still believe immortal beloved is what goes with it. Carry on.
I agree with that. I totally agree, because for 1,000 years is an appropriate title, but I think Immortal Beloved has weight. But what do you, like I asked already, what do you think about the story?
Well, I loved how Superman's love life and his friendship is being brought about here in the very beginning. We see how dedicated he is to his wife. His wife is like, I mean, they're not married yet. Are they in the
They are,
story?
they are.
Okay. So his wife is like, a little insecure. I know she's trying to get it off of him. She knows that the public would expect Wonder Woman to be Mrs.
Honestly,
Superman.
the funny thing is, she knows this.
She knows this.
I don't think it was in her mind when she was teasing him.
I think eventually
Yeah,
the
because she
jealousy
shows up.
started. Yeah. Like I said, speak of the devil. So she was pretty much thinking it, right? But she wouldn't say it. So in that moment, still, the Sunday
Do you
morning
think she was
cuddling,
trying to get him to say it?
he would never say
He would
it.
never say
if he
it.
knows
Do you
what's
think
good
do you
for
think that's
him.
what do you think that's what she was trying
Probably like, do you think people? So Superman, do you think people think it's Wonder Woman, and then she would just go off on him? But no, they're not a couple that would do that. I don't think they're that impulsive. I felt like they had this hidden communication kind of thing. They know what the other is thinking, but he was like, no, it's just you.
Right.
Why
right.
do you think he was emphasizing on it? Because he knows somewhere in her mind.
'Cause he's
there's
smart.
A little bit of,
And he's a man, and he
Yeah.
knows what happens.
he will hold on to his marriage no matter
Right,
what.
right.
And then Wonder Woman shows up, and Wonder Woman, here's another aspect of their friendship, love nonetheless. He calls for her, right, and she just shows up. She's very
Right.
discreet about it, like she drops everything and she shows up, and then they go off into this mission, right?
You were talking about Lois a little while back.
Uh-huh.
Once they're gone, Lois is by herself in the apartment.
Yeah.
And she's making fun. She's like, "There's a golden bustier size, bustier coming bare
Right,
mortal size."
right. That was so amazing. That's when I understood
She
the
really
insecurity.
dislikes Diana.
Yeah, because she's comparing herself to
Yeah, yeah.
Wonder Woman, the other woman.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that just hit me. Because to Lois, maybe that's the other woman. But really, it's not like that between Wonder Woman and Superman. Their love is very platonic. It's like they help one another grow. They can count on each other. They lean back on one another. And okay, here's the moment that really caught my notice. Okay, caught my notice. Okay, this is the moment when I could really understand their friendship. So he's like, so I'm going into the deep space, and he's suggesting that he might not come back.
The reason he calls her is to tell her that.
Yeah, so you're like, second in command. You're in charge of taking care of the Earth while I'm gone.
Right.
I might not be back, and Wonder Woman catches on. You see, they're also pretty much, reading each other's mind. And he's like, she goes like, you haven't told Lois that you might not be coming back, or where you're off to.
Or the fact that, I don't think Superman says it either. Diana says it. Diana's like, the only reason you would call me and tell me this is because you feel like you might not be coming
You might
back.
not be coming
Have you
back.
told Lois?
Right.
And he says no.
So she's like, you haven't told Lois, your wife, the love of your life, but you told me. And he's about to say, yeah, because with you I feel, and then they're teleported to Asgard. That was crazy. Now tell us all about the action ventures.
Okay.
Tell us about Thor. Tell us what was going on. What was why the villain was so scary, and why was Asgard in such a danger that it might perish, and why were these two the only people that could be brought in?
So the story.
Superman doesn't even kill.
He doesn't. So the story of the Norse gods, which Thor is one of, is such that at some point. Oh, by the way, the Norse gods are complete assholes. The Norse gods are complete bastards, as one might say, because they're gods of war. In the Norse religion, if you die a warrior, you go to heaven, and if you die a coward, or die of disease, or a normal death, you go to hell. Right. Right. So it's a warrior culture. So.
Well, they have heaven and hell too.
So they do. And so in Norse mythology, the end of the gods comes in the form of a concept called Ragnarok, where the gods all die. So Thor, Odin, they all die at some point. This is what's happening now. So Thor summons not Superman.
Right.
He summons Diana, who's because Wonder Woman is part of the Greek pantheon, and Wonder Woman herself says in the story she is honor-bound to answer to Thor's call.
Yes.
Right? She cannot refuse.
She cannot refuse.
But Superman was standing next to her. So the teleportation just brings them both in. Yeah. And Superman,
Okay, that's what happened.
That's what happens.
Because Superman doesn't even kill. I was really wondering.
He doesn't. And that's an interesting aspect of the character. Superman does not kill. He never kills.
Yeah. Not even a demon.
Not even a demon, which I think is a little
Extreme.
stupid. It's a little stupid because demons. I mean, demons are like. Demons are like hell-born creatures whose sole purpose, they're mindless monsters. Their sole purpose is to torture people.
Like you?
Yeah.
I had to.
Oh, that's a good one. But.
It's like you were describing yourself.
Right. So.
Sucked in.
So Superman. It's interesting that he extends his courtesy, but of course he would.
Yeah.
And then the other aspect.
He is not one to turn away from his duties to save the world,
He's
whatever
not. Never.
world it may be.
Never. Another interesting aspect of the story that I found was Superman, as he forgets Lois, and it's years, by the way. Like, he doesn't just forget her the next day. Like, decades down the line, 30 years later, he forgets the way she smells. Yeah. And Diana's right there, smelling like fire and orchids.
Orchids, right.
And then 100 years down the line, he starts to forget her face.
Yeah, I wanna tell you about this quote. So, Diana's so close and so warm, and that's the woman's touch.
Because Superman's longing for a woman's touch.
Soft touch of a woman.
Right.
And I found that, okay, so a little bit about Superman. When they were talking about that, he was he was growing lonely, he was wearing out of loneliness.
Right.
He was craving a woman's touch, soft touch, and, the smell of a woman. It just shows not only did he miss Lois, but the comfort that came with being able to go home after doing all of this that he does, saving the world and all that, crazy stuff, he can go home and be normal with his wife, you know?
Right,
I feel like that's why
Because
his partner isn't...
there is a non-sensual aspect of companionship or intimacy.
Right.
Yeah, which he's missing.
Exactly. You see, that's why I believe they did not pair him up with Wonder Woman, because that's not a relationship that would work, because they're both, you know, in that crazy world of saving everybody, you know, having the same mental health issues, perhaps, you know, if I humanize them, you know, they have the same troubles. That even if they want to find sanctuary within one another, they can't. It's only struggles that they bond off of. Take a sip. And he goes back to Lois. That's his sanctuary. That's a safe place. That's the place. That's why he keeps Lois separate from his world of, okay, this is the mission. This is the mission I'm going into. This is the fight I was in. That's why when he comes back, he doesn't bring the baggage of work home. Because that's what we see at the very end of the story. He never explains to Lois why he was away, where he went. He just comes in. We're going to get to that. And he swooshes in through the window, kisses her, and then, you know, I love you for 1,000 years.
Right.
So he keeps the two worlds separate, and that crazy world is what he shares with Wonder Woman. That's where their friendship is.
Because they are part of that same world.
Exactly.
Okay.
And like, when you have such a same extreme world, sometimes it doesn't make sense to have a partnership in that beyond friendship and companionship. That's why it's so platonic. So even though they were so lonely in Asgard, they did not give in to their temptation, because remember how I told you, their temptation was only there because one man and one woman, the only woman he could turn to.
So your theory is that the only reason they're attracted to each other at that point is because there's no one else there.
There's no one else there. It's like when you're, there's an apocalypse, right? Only two people on Earth, right? If there was you and food, you would obviously eat that.
I would eat it regardless.
Okay.
I am a hellspawn demon, actually.
So yeah, it's familiarity and someone to turn to. So he would rest his head on any shoulder that's available to him. But then they do have their conscience though. He still remembers who he is. And that person, remember the dual oaths he has? He has two oaths. One, never to kill. Another, Lois. Such a simple man.
So it's
Such
interesting. It's interesting
be
because
like Superman.
I've given this story to all the friends that I've tried to get into comics, and they all come back and go like, "Oh, it's a beautiful story. It's about love. It's about commitment."
You're about to trash everything I just said, aren't you?
That's what I do. I build it up first. So it's about love. It's about commitment, and it's about staying true to marriage and such. Here's something I have a problem with.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is.
So, Superman at best is 30 years old, right? And he's been married to Lois for let's be generous. Let's say 3 years.
Are we near 30? Oh my
We're
god.
Not. So Superman's 30 maybe, and he's been married for maybe 3 years, and then he gets yanked to Asgard, right? And the narration is such that as the war continues, he starts to forget his wife.
Right.
And he starts to forget like the way she smells and the way she feels, and as he forgets Lois, he starts to realize he starts to find the same things that he misses in Diana.
Right.
So my question is, 1,000 years into the future,
right?
They are at this war. They've been here for 1,000 years. He's lived those. If he's forgotten his wife,
I don't like where this is going.
if he has forgotten his wife, he's forgotten the rest of his life as well.
Yeah.
Because at the end of those 1,000 years, Lois is a name and an idea. He doesn't remember what she looks like, smells like, feels like, nothing.
Nothing.
Right? And it's only natural because it's been 1,000 years.
Yeah.
My question is, what are you going back to?
Very good.
What are you going back to?
That's amazing.
You know?
That's
because
amazing.
okay, the story is about love. I don't think so. You can't love something you don't remember. Oh, it's about commitment. What are you committing to if you don't remember them?
Do you think that he was being deluded at that
I think
point?
he was, and I think that this is like as a fan of Superman, this is one of the core tenets of Superman. He's a naive son of a bitch.
But doesn't that happen to every soldier? every soldier at war, they hold on to that one picture of their partner.
Yeah.
Someone to go home to, someone to
Ab-
aspire to live
Definitely,
for.
definitely.
Right?
But then,
Isn't that the
if
motivation?
the war lasts for so long that they're dead, you know,
You
or
cynical
if
bastard.
you know for a fact that they're gone,
Uh-huh.
it's been 1,000 years. There's no way she could have survived,
Oh my god.
right? And I'm not saying
I
it's,
hate that you're making sense.
I'm not saying that it's wrong for him to miss her. Obviously not. That's the beautiful part of the story. but the point that I'm trying to make is if you don't remember her, if you don't remember her face, her touch,
Even
her voice,
smell,
her nothing.
She's dead to you.
She
by
is
this-
dead to
by
you,
this point.
right?
And she's probably dead in
Here's
the real world.
here's another point, okay? What about his relationship with Diana? Because
What
he's
about it?
here for let's go over
Would you give in?
let's go over the standard.
Diana's hot. I would.
Let's give in the let's give in. Let's talk about the standard wedding vows.
Yeah, let's
Right?
give in.
Let's talk about the standard wedding vows. The vows are
To have and to hold.
to have and to hold from this day forward, in sickness and in health, for richer, for poorer, for better, for worse, till death do us part.
I do.
Fuck off.
Emily! Oh my god!
So wait.
That's your responsibility. He's gave it to you.
It would be amazing if this entire thing makes it into the final episode.
And it will. It has to. This segment
Oh my god.
is. A part again.
We gotta go. Okay.
A part of this segment.
Oh my god.
Just gave it to you.
Okay, but honestly speaking, like if you look at the standard wedding vows, right? They are never truer than during war,
I know.
right?
Oh my god.
In any state of health, in any state of wealth,
Yeah.
in any
You
state
could
of
lose
morality,
An arm. You
right?
could be amputated, come back, and
In any state of morality, and with death looming every second.
yeah.
When are these vows truer? So I say, for 1,000 years, he's fighting with Diana.
Are you getting goosebumps?
I am.
Oh my
So,
god.
so he's fighting with Diana. He's sleeping next to her. He's defending her. He's protecting her. They're sitting back to back, looking out for each other. Right? It's a marriage. What? He's betraying a 1,000-year marriage for a 3-year marriage. Naive. Okay?
That's
And
the,
no one that I've given the story to ever sees that.
That's the
which
heart. That's the heart.
infuriates me.
That's the heart that I knew existed somewhere in there.
Or a lack thereof. But anyway, but the point is, I love this story, and it represents two things. One, Superman's insane innocence, that he would extend the courtesy that he has for human life to demons, right? Hellspawn, but also the fact that he's completely naive. And I love that about the character. These are not critiques of the character's negativity, by the way. I love it because Superman is invulnerable. Who else can be that naive? There's no risk involved. For him, I still have goosebumps. Like it's for him, he's always going to be able to come back from anything. You
Right.
can't hurt him, at least other than emotionally, and that's the crux of the character.
Right.
Right? So the innocence and naivety are two things which are core tenets central to Superman. Okay?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Um,
You know, now that you brought up this perspective, I feel so bad for Wonder Woman because he goes like, I mean, I love you.
And we should talk about Wonder Woman as well, because Wonder Woman takes it like a champion. And you know what?
It's
Here's the
so
thing. I like the
gracefully.
fact that Wonder Woman's honest throughout all of this, because
All of it.
she realized, I'm guessing, the story's told from Superman's perspective. She must be feeling the same things.
She is.
Because she makes the first move in the final night.
Yeah,
right?
like she's the one taking care of him, providing him all the sanctuary he would need for 1,000 motherfucking
he does
years.
the same for her, but
He does it, but he's not the one reciprocating here.
right,
So
right.
I'm only gonna blame him
because
for
she
turning her down.
Right, because at during this entire time, she's there and she's honest and she makes the move because she's like, yeah, it only makes sense.
It only makes sense.
No.
And if this is our last night together,
Right.
let's be alive for a second. She
Right.
wasn't suggesting anything sexual. Take a sip.
I think she was.
She knows he's worn out. He can't.
I mean, no.
Listen.
Listen, he can keep going.
I
Listen,
had to
he's
refrain
Superman.
myself from saying what I wanted to say. He can't get it.
Superman.
He can't get it.
He's super at everything.
But yeah, she got turned down, she got rejected.
And she
This
takes it like a
happens.
champion.
She does, like,
Yeah.
and she still asserts the fact that she still loves him no
Right.
matter what.
Right.
You're right. Lois is there. You know, they kind of wake up,
Yeah.
and she's so disappointed. You
Right.
felt the hug, right? It was
Yeah,
such
yeah,
a
yeah.
disappointment.
Because she's like,
Oh,
okay, you're an idiot.
you're a
No,
fucking idiot, but like,
it's more
I'll be by
earnest.
your
It's
side.
more earnest than
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Lois is a jealous bitch. I dare I say, she's an
I
insecure
love Lois.
little
I actually like
jealous-ass
like
bitch.
Lois Lane more than Superman, and
Because of her practicality.
because of her practicality. Because look, the way to there's a term I use to describe Lois.
She's not right for him. We're gonna get into that at some point. This is a toxic marriage.
Oh my god. Okay, so
This is a toxic marriage
oh,
based off of attachment.
we're alienating so many people right now. But the term I use to
love
describe
you.
Lois is cutthroat bitch. But
Of course you
I
like that.
love Lois. She's my favorite female character. In anything.
You love Lois?
I love Lois.
You love Lois? You wanna say that again?
Absolutely.
Okay.
She's-
Ek fuda door nahi to.
Ekdom. So guys, come back next week for our subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe to
All right,
the
share
channel.
this video, like it if you liked it, and we'll see you next week.
No
for,
thumbs down. I will. No.
Let's not threaten
Please.
our audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love
back.
you.
We'll be back
We
next
love
week.
doing this.
We do.
We'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week.
Thursdays. Bye.